Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. When I'ma go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. OnChain Revolution, Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be awesome, guys, because today is the day. Today is the day we get confirmation with Jerome Powell. We think we're about to head into a cycle of rate cutting. It's not going to be this month, but potentially in the future, potentially 4 rate cuts, which kind of puts us in that cycle. But there's something big we're kind of hoping Jerome Powell says today, and that is quantitative easing. It's looking like they started yesterday. There was stuff, we had it on the show yesterday that, they came out firing at the meeting. So they had a meeting yesterday and they have a meeting today, and then Jerome's going to talk today. At 2 o'clock will be the no change, and then at 2:30 he'll come out and he'll basically say some good stuff, and we're hoping, right? So the markets are thinking that too. The markets are sitting at 96,800 for Bitcoin. Ethereum's up a little bit today at 1,800. Tail's getting kind of hit kind of hard, down 13% today. Or no, 3% today. So yeah, it's been an up and down market. Everyone's just waiting for confirmation. Everyone's waiting to be told go, right? Risk on. And we think that comes in about 8 hours, right? So we're about 3-4 hours right now. We're excited for it, guys. Tonight's close is going to be really important, I believe. I think whatever happens at that close is going to be absolutely catastrophic for tomorrow, whether that's up, whether that's down. I think it's going to be insane going into tomorrow. And then who knows what comes after that, right? Next week, I think it's going to be very bullish. Colin Touch Crypto said he's kind of expecting a huge upward momentum past 100K. We're going to get into that. It looks like Trump is getting into DeFi. Yes, Trump is doing stuff on chain with WLFI. So we're going to get into that, and plenty of really cool stuff to talk about. Bitcoin Core has officially acknowledged inscriptions. So we're going to get into that as well. We got a lot going on, guys. So without further ado, we bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling with everything? How you feeling with the markets? And are you excited for it later today?
I am excited. I'm still in that trajectory of up, guys. I'm still there. I won't be worried until I feel like we have finish this this phase that we are
Yeah.
in with the M2 money supply and things like that, the catalyst there. But it's funny when you mentioned Trump is in DeFi. I was like, man, is he looking at his phone at like 3 a.m? I'm just kidding. That's what we do, right? No. But yeah, his team is definitely starting to dabble. That's exciting. There's a lot of things to be excited about. And one thing that came to my mind, you and I were both in the Sats terminal spaces. That was the topic was Bitcoin DeFi, right? And it's the competition kind of heating up, right? And you have it in so many different kind of product solution offerings for different users. And so you can't deny that the building is happening in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And so that's good for the broader crypto space because, you know, how much liquidity is there in Bitcoin? We're talking about multiple trillions of dollars, guys. So exciting times right now to be in the space. I hope that you guys have been paying attention for the, you know, this entire year, because that's going to pay off very soon, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you mentioned it in the space earlier, right? And it really got me thinking, right? So every L1 chain they have a Bitcoin strategy, right? And you're seeing a lot of builders from other chains actually come along and join the Bitcoin community, which is absolutely awesome. We're seeing more and more builders every single week. And you know, you got Near, you got Cardano, you got ICP. Who am I missing here? Sui. I mean, it's looking yeah. I mean, everyone has a Bitcoin strategy, whether that's going after, you know, wrap Bitcoin or another, or actually building here or building bridges to here, or it's actually really exciting. I'm really excited for it. I want to kind of get into something really quickly. So our partner Tokeo, they just launched something yesterday. Well, came out with a tweet yesterday about these spaces, and we're kind of a part of this. We're going to help co-host these spaces, but the Bitcoin Blitz. This is something I've never seen before. I've never seen a team come from another chain and come here and really kind of start going after all the builders, right? These guys, obviously they're a wallet, so it's really smart for them to try to integrate every single place, right? But coming out here, I mean, the names, I mean, in this are absolutely insane. From, you know, you have Dot Swap to Merlin to Arch to Sats Terminal. It's mind blowing that these guys are trying this, and it's new, it's different. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, there's a lot of builders that aren't on that graphic right now. They just, you know, either need to get a little bit of confirmation, or they just, you know, going to put them on a future graphic as well. So yeah, look, I think this is really smart. This is something a little bit similar to what we used to do every Saturday for the OGs that are watching when we used to be OnChain Revolution. We used to do a builder spaces every Saturday. And this reminds me of that, except for on steroids, right? Because look, it's about education too. That's the main, in my opinion, that's the main objective here is to educate people that attend these spaces on these projects and see, you know, how maybe like Tokyo can fit in as well, right? And so I think this is a great approach, and it's great to, you know, have an initiative that's really going to help maybe new people to the Bitcoin ecosystem learn, right? And I'm sure they're going to be learning as well, and we are as well. Like, we've been here the entire time, but you can always learn more. And I think you got to have that mentality, guys. Like, don't feel comfortable ever. Don't, you know, that's whenever you get too cocky and you're like, okay, I don't have to do anything. But no, we can always learn more. Have an open mind, because I promise, for me at least, my experience and a lot of people that I surround myself with, they use that approach and they just continually sharpen their skill set, their knowledge base, and all that. So excited for this. I'm excited to kind of get back into that saddle and start co-hosting these spaces.
Exactly, man. And to your point, like, complacency doesn't lead to success. Complacency leads to failure. And these guys are not being complacent here. They, like, a lot of these builders, they kind of see this, and they got builders reaching out and saying, you know, I want to be a part of this, because they see something that's different, and they see Tokyo really kind of I mean, right now is probably like the best time to be doing this as well, because like it does seem like people are slowly coming back. Maybe this is the big push to kind of bring a lot of people back, especially into the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, stuff like this will help, definitely, because they, you know, people are going to be noticing the building that's happening. Oh, wow. Like, you know, a smart wallet that's really dedicated to user experience, UI, you know, it's new, it's innovative, that kind of thing. Also, these other builders that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of because they went away for a couple months when it was slower, right? So they're going to be reintroduced to the ecosystem, which is a lot bigger than it was even 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger, and it's a lot more competitive. We just got to wait for the users to come back, right? We got to wait for our timeline to be blown up again with crazy degens.
It's coming. It's coming.
slowly coming back, right? When some people start talking about op 20s, it's like, okay, the degens are back, right? But it's not coming in droves. It's coming, it's like trickling in, but soon that faucet's going to open and we're going to see the users. But hey, you got to build it first, right? And that's what a lot of these projects are doing.
Yep.
All right, let's kind of get into today's first topic. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit in the intro, but let's kind of a little dig into it today. So Wednesday, which is today, May 7th, 2 p.m., FOMC, that's when the meeting agenda that's over, right? They come out and they make a decision. Polymarket users predict that decision is 98% chance of keeping.
Ooh.
If Polymarket thinks that, especially at that high of a number, then it's law, right? It's going to happen. People are voting with their own money. But anyway, the big thing is that 230, and we talked about it all week, but this is the most important thing. It's macro. It sucks. It's not crypto, but this is the most important thing for our market right now is kind of flipping that switch to risk on. Do you think that happens today?
Ooh. Well, I think there's going to be questions about the assets, right, that they picked up. So they're going to try to tie that. The media is going to try to tie that to QE. I hope that we get some sort of dovish energy from J Powell, right? We know that the rates are going to stay the same, right? Every meeting, they've been staying the same the past 3-4 meetings. And so for us, it's kind of like what's going to happen next month. Already people are thinking that. But yeah, exactly. But one thing I will say, though, the past couple meetings, even the last one, which he was kind of more hawkish than the 2 meetings before, the last one, he was a little bit hawkish because of the tariffs and all these things. But Bitcoin was the honey badger, was like, Bitcoin don't care. Bitcoin going to push through. And I expect the same thing to happen because there's too many catalysts right now in terms of the money supply. And, look, they are acquiring assets, however he explains that. Maybe we're hoping that he says something like we're easing into QE. We're trying, we're being cautious, but we're easing there. That would be a very, in my opinion, like strong catalyst, because then people will be like, oh, it's going to happen. We're right around the corner. So with all that being said, I expect Bitcoin to be volatile probably during that period, just to see what his tone is like. And then about 4-hour period afterwards, we'll probably restabilize. And in my opinion, we'll get right back on track. One thing that you can't deter Bitcoin from is knocking it off the same trajectory of the M2 money supply. We've seen that in the Q4 of last year. So I expect that to continue for the next at least 2 months to kind of catch up.
Yeah, 100%. So I heard something there that I think you said. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're kind of saying it doesn't matter what happens today. Bitcoin's a honey badger. Bitcoin's going to go up. It doesn't matter if he comes a hawkish stuff. It doesn't give a shit. So I guess my question for you is, what does that mean for altcoins? We do know altcoins aren't the honey badger. Altcoins have been smacked. So does altcoins need quantitative easing, need rate cuts to kind of move up? Okay,
they do. Altcoins, in my opinion, does need that risk on environment. But we'll get there. We will get there. It's just, how long are we going to have to wait, right? So if J Powell comes in and he does sound a little hawkish, maybe he's still a little emotional because Trump is, he uses words, right? And it hurts people's feelings. And so, maybe he is a bit hawkish. He kind of, dances around the word tariff a little bit more. Then we'll probably, like I said, Bitcoin will get back on track, whether it takes 4 hours or maybe a day. But the alt markets will still, they'll continue like what they've been doing, right? So the pull, if it does pull back because of that, like Bitcoin, then alts will pull back even harder. But the pull back up, for Bitcoin will happen inevitably, is my opinion, but alts will have a slower kind of tailing of it, like it has shown. We do need to get into the risk on environment for alts. And so, whatever it takes for the Fed to start that process, that's when alts will probably start to be aggressive.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. 100%. Let's move along here. So yesterday at 6 p.m., all of a sudden, Bitcoin shot from 94 to 97, a little under 97 right now. And I was looking to figure out why. And the only thing that I could see the reason why was U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent to meet with China lead economic official this week. And then China came out immediately and confirmed the plans to begin those negotiations. And then you've seen this crazy movement, not just in Bitcoin, but in stocks and everywhere else as well. Was this the main reason why we kind of are sitting at 97 right now?
No, it was obviously because when I made the thumbnail, I said Bitcoin's taking a breather at 94,000, and Bitcoin said, "What? On-chain revolution? What'd you say about me?" No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I completely think that this had a lot to do with that, right? And so even with the FOMC coming up the next day, I felt like traders were like, "Okay, we're in a positive, news." At least day or two cycle here. So it did give us that buffer from 94 to 97.4, actually got to 97.4, but we're retracing right now to like 96.8, 96.9, which to me makes complete sense because we're about 4 hours away from the FOMC meeting, right? So, they're going to throw the traders off here. Like it's a mental gymnastics, mental chess right now between the market makers, the traders, and especially the inexperienced traders, right? Like, oh, we're bullish China, all these things. And then sometimes when you're an inexperienced trader, you can't get off of that momentum that you got into. So that's what happens with experience. You learn, okay, I got to chill out. Like this was good, but we have FOMC, which is volatile. So that's how I view it. But this is definitely good news. And it's also good that Scott Bessent is the one that's going to be negotiating with somebody, from the Chinese side that is kind of away from both leaders, so now they can talk business.
Yeah, 100%. I love Scott. I think he's very calm, cool, and collective, right? The opposite of what Trump is, which is awesome to have the two, right? I think it was a great choice for Treasury Secretary because it's total opposite of what Trump. They have the same ideas, the same mindset, but the way they handle things seem to be total opposite of each other. So, jump to the next thing here. China boosts gold reserves for the 6th consecutive month, now holding 243 billion worth of gold backing its dollar, or its yuan. So what do you think about this? China is the reason why gold is basically at $3,500.
Yeah, I actually have thought a lot about this because you've been hearing it, right, consistently. China's adding gold, China's adding gold, China's adding gold. It makes me wonder like how bullish China really is on Bitcoin and stuff. I know they're the number 2 holder in terms of countries, but this is a safe play, obviously, and we've seen gold consistently go up, but recently with this red candle, that's interesting, right? Like pretty. What is this? The daily chart for gold?
The daily, yes.
So today it's pulling back pretty significantly. It looks like. And so
the day yesterday, I mean, it's just kind of evening out, right? The day yesterday was insane. The last 2 days have been just
huge green leg,
huge green legs up.
Candles,
so need a little pullback.
I think it's it's their safe play, right? Like gold has not proven to break down, right? And so for them, it's a safe investment. We're gonna see if they're truly bullish on Bitcoin in the next 6 months, because if they have the expectations of Bitcoin getting to 500,000, 700,000, then we would think that they would start acquiring as well. But they are the number 2 country that holds the second most, so maybe they feel like they're good there. It's interesting.
I love this though. I love that China. Let's just say they don't get into Bitcoin, right? Like they have their Bitcoin. They're not buying anymore. They're not making it an treasury asset. But if you're a country and you're seeing China do this, right? And let's just say you are bullish on Bitcoin, you're going to look for alternatives to gold. And what's the number one alternative to gold? That's Bitcoin. You're going to look at something maybe a little cheaper. I mean, gold's going on a $18 trillion asset. Bitcoin is a little less than 2 right now, or maybe a little around 2 trillion. So you got to be sitting there and you're saying, hey, do I buy China's bags here and pump their price, or do I look for an alternative? And that alternative, I mean, especially to us, that's Bitcoin for sure. It's the only. I mean, I'd go Bitcoin over silver any day.
I think if we come to a trade deal and like the relations get softened and it gets better, ultimately, that's what I would love for that to happen, right? Like the 2 number 1 and 2 world powers, and really have been driving this global economy, kind of come get to the same page, right? And if that happens, then both sides would be bullish on Bitcoin and crypto and stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe they start to see a little bit of like BNB kind of being something that they start to build up, and it'll be that secondary. Obviously, Bitcoin will be the first option, and then but it'd be interesting to see what else they're willing to go into. But first, getting to the table, making, coming to an agreement without like all this trickery behind the scenes, which I don't even know if that's even possible with that level of like world powers. You know what I mean? It's like always like having like multiple aces up your sleeves, I guess, is the way they have to work and live. And so, but if both can get on the same page, man, it could be really bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And I hope that's the hope that I have.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Obviously, right? You want everyone to kind of think of Bitcoin as the new gold because, I mean, it's a better gold. But I'll end it there. Moving along here. You ready for some Trump DeFi?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Because it's happening, bro. So let me get through these. I got about like 4 topics, 4 different banners here. So World Liberty Financial executed a significant transaction by transferring 4.5 million worth of digital assets into Falcon Finance. The transfer included AVAX valued at 2 million, Say valued at 1.1 million, and Move valued at approximately 1.2 million. Following the deposit, World Liberty Financial minted 2 million of USDF, which is Falcon's stablecoin, a stablecoin associated with Falcon Finance. Okay. The substantial collateralization and minting of USDF indicate a strategic move within the decentralized finance DeFi space. Such actions can influence liquidity and trading dynamics. Pretty nuts. So I didn't know what Falcon Finance was. It does look like it's a MakerDAO fork, very similar to how DAI acts. That's kind of what this USDF is looking, but they're not a big project. I mean, 19,000 followers. I think most of them are probably coming from the last couple hours, honestly, after this was announced. And then when you go to their site, right, it's a very clean site. Next generation synthetic dollar, 245 million in TVL, which is absolutely insane. But this is the big one here. 12.4% APY. This is the reason why World Liberty Financial is putting this. First off, they are collateralizing their assets. They're basically going long because you don't want to hit a liquidation price, but at the same time, taking that USDF and staking it and earning 12% yield on the USDF, and you're just basically you still hold all those assets. You get all those assets back.
Yeah. Do we know for a fact that they staked it?
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty positive. There's no other reason why they would do that because they have USD1, right? There's no other reason to get this USDF.
I mean, I can see that from the numbers, right? I mean, that's the thing that makes the most sense. But I would just like some clarity that they did stake it, because they obviously took a loan, a stable coin loan, and if you look at the assets that they put up for collateral, you had Say, you had Move, you had two other ones. Was there a major blue chip in there?
It was just here. It is. It was Avalanche.
Okay,
which
so
is
AVAX,
chip, Say, and Move. Say is another
moving up
strong. And then Move is terrible. Move is very risky. I mean, the CEO just got fired yesterday. So
okay. So I think this is probably like obviously AVAX is blue chip. We know that. Say is kind of working their way towards that. They almost hit every level here, right? Like a strong blue chip established. Say kind of that middle ground, making a name for itself, getting stronger, and then Move that's in that lower. And so to me, this was like a smart move. This was a very smart move, right? Because they didn't put up like 3 blue chip assets that they knew, would, have strong foundation, basically, right? And so I think this is a really strong move, especially for that 12.4 APY. We'll see how it plays out, though, because it's pretty cool that his crypto organization, is doing things like this, and people might start to follow kind of their moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is decentralized finance. Like these guys over, and they're not just doing stuff on chain, right? They're not MicroStrategy where they're just buying Bitcoin and having Coinbase hold it for them, right? They're actually getting in depth with our ecosystem. They are actually becoming a part of our ecosystem. World Liberty Financial seems to be doing a lot of things that normal corporate, like Wall Street's not doing this. Like, from my knowledge, Wall Street isn't playing in this field yet. World Liberty Financial seems to be so much further along than I honestly thought they were.
Well, look, they built this entity, World Liberty Fi, they want to be a huge player. They got to lead the way. They have to,
Yeah.
you know, and I want to do some deep research on. I'm sure there's probably some entities over there in the TradFi world that have, dabbled here, but maybe not up front and center. They're not going to be underneath a microscope the same way as World Liberty Fi will be, right? But this is big because you and I have talked about World Liberty Fi possibly having an index product or something like that, right? So they're going to lead the way in this industry. Then they have to start partaking in smart moves like this is what it seems as of right now.
Yeah, 100% couldn't agree more. They also did one more thing. World Liberty Financial launches Snapshot Vote to test its airdrop functionality by distributing free USD1 stablecoin to all eligible WLFI token holders. So they obviously, the people who own this WLFY, they haven't received it yet. So you bought into it, but it's still being held by the company. And they're going to be airdropping it to everyone. Justin Sun being a big contributor to this. He's going to get a big, nice chunk of WLFI. But they're kind of testing it first with the USD1. I love this, but I think this is just the beginning for WLFI holders. I'm actually thinking about once it goes live, potentially picking some up because of the airdrops that you potentially receive from something like World Liberty down the future. Who knows? Maybe a Trump token airdrop, right? Or who knows if they bridge it over to Ethereum and they do airdrops that way. Maybe Melania token. Who knows? I just think their airdrops are going to be coming strong to these WLFI holders.
Yeah, definitely need to learn more about it. There was a pre-sale, obviously, right? So it was gate kept. It's
still gate kept. Well,
yeah,
not gate kept. Anyone could have went there. It was you did have KYC, but you didn't have to be a accredited investor.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's definitely a lot better than what I initially thought. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting once it's open to the public. I imagine the market cap's going to be quite large to start off with, but long term, right? These are the type of tokens and plays. I think like that TradFi is going to start looking at, and serious investors in our space will start looking at and say, hey, look, I have a 5-year plan for WLFI, those kind of products. And we need more of these like stable products, right? Because if something happens to WLFI, shit's going to hit the fan, right? There's going to be a lot of people come in to the SEC, all these things, if something shady happens there. So, but yeah, this is exciting for me because now we get to get a little bit more stability. I know some people probably don't love this, maybe myself, if he's in the chat there, but it's going to happen. We're going to get more of these RWA style products. And so to me, this is exciting because we need this sector. It's going to bring so much liquidity over too.
Yeah, and what you just said there, though, you said, if something does happen with WLFI, they're going to get SEC's going to be over them. SEC should be over everybody that makes a mistake like that, though, right? It shouldn't just be Trump's like company. That's how we get to the next part of crypto. That's how we get to the next part of DeFi.
Well,
having the SEC not to try to destroy us, but actually kind of protect users of these products.
Yeah, and I was talking about more of this style of product, right? If what they're trying to create, which looks like to me more of a traditional finance mixed with crypto, digital assets, and that's something that you're gonna have some big pockets coming into. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get into that crypto fear and greed here. So the number is high, bro, way higher than I originally thought. I was shocked to see it. I don't even know how to hint this to you. So last week we were at a 56. Yesterday was a 59. We are higher than 59.
Well, let me just give you a stab at.
We are lower than 70. We're lower than 70, but
67.
Ooh, dude, let's go.
Let's go. It's gonna be a good day,
man. So yeah, so this is crazy. Obviously, the Trump stuff happened, the China stuff happened at 6 p.m. UTC closes at 8 o'clock, so this number is usually at that part. So 2 hours after.
EST.
That's kind of why.
8 o'clock EST.
No, UTC. So 8 p.m. Okay. Oh, 8 p.m. EST. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Right. So 8 p.m. EST is 00 UTC. So that is kind of when this number got locked in. How are you feeling about this? Do you still feel like we're in 67, or do you feel like we're a little lower right now?
I feel like the 67 was because of the news with China sending someone to meet with Scott Bessent, that kind of situation, right? So bullish, but depending on how people, Jay Powell sounds during this meeting and how the markets react to his tone and what he says, we're going to know, I'm starting to get a feel of the fear and greed index.
Yeah. So this number wasn't shocking to you then, as it was?
No, not because, because last night, that happened and I expected that.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're doing big things, guys. They're going to be launching their leverage trading platform on Hemi, which is a Bitcoin L2. This is really important because the fact that Hemi is actually backed by Binance. What does that mean? When you use a product on a chain without a coin, a lot of the times there's an airdrop. So potentially you guys can be airdrop farming Artura because we know they're going to have a potential airdrop in the future. But you're also potentially going to be getting the Hemi airdrop. This is going to be absolutely huge because you're double dipping and, double the airdrop, double the fun, right? So you win. We want our community to win. Once this launches, we really want you guys to take a little bit of money, a little bit of leverage, kind of go play on Artura, maybe a few bucks, $3-4, just enough money that you're willing to lose, but airdrop farm this, guys. Airdrop farm this because it is going to be very lucrative in my opinion. I will be doing it, and I'm just letting you guys know that I don't really see a risk as long as you are smart and don't be stupid. Don't put a lot of money, just very small leverage, have some fun, just like you would do normally on these other leverage trading platforms. I mean, a lot of you guys are very degen, so a lot of you guys are very experienced. If you're not experienced, maybe paper trade a little bit before you head over there, but definitely check out Artura.finance.
Yes. But before we get into this Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles, if you guys could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like. That's the first thing. Second, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to OnChain Revolution, what are you doing with your life? And then a third, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, share the space. Let's get it going. Let's get as many people into the stream as possible to educate them, onboard them to crypto and the Bitcoin ecosystem. Same thing with the abstract stream, if you could help us out there. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action. And just to let myself know, because I see him in the chat, I did add the Bollinger Bands. So I'm not super familiar with it, but I did kind of, obviously researched it before we added it. So we'll get into a little bit of the volatility here. I will say, though, I appreciate your suggestions because I feel like you have been a part of making the Bitcoin price action a better experience. So keep those suggestions coming if you don't mind there, sir. Okay, so let's take a look here at the Bitcoin price action on the hour chart. We are going a little bit flat here, consolidating, but that's after a huge rise up, right? That kind of stopped here at last night, I would say. It's telling me around 8 or 9 Central Time, and then we started to kind of start this downtrend. So right after, an hour after that fear and greed index came in is whenever the downtrend happened. So I could have been wrong if it was an hour later, but anyhow, you can see here we did have this downtrend with another pop-up kind of start the morning throughout the wee hours of the morning here, and we've been going sideways here. So let's get into this Bollinger Band indicator here. So this is a volatility indicator, but from what I've researched is whenever and it makes sense here because it plays out, whenever this band gets tight, when it starts to tighten up is whenever there's going to be a big move eventually, right? So you see it actually started to tighten up last Monday, I believe it was this Monday, and then but it stayed all the way until this big leg up, which was yesterday at 4 p.m. So right before that news with China and the US meeting for trade talks, that's whenever it popped up. And once there is a big move, that's whenever the separation happens here, and then you'll see some consolidation. So once we start to see these tighten up again, you're kind of waiting for that pop up or pop down. By the way, it could go up or down, right? So you want to use the tightness of the Bollinger Band indicator and align it with your other lead indicators, with stochastic RSI along with the MACD here. So today it kind of, in my opinion, at least for me, I kind of throw some of these indicators a little bit out the window because we're waiting for Jay Powell to talk, right? What is he going to say? We know that market makers love FOMC day because it's a day for them to kind of do these mental gymnastics that I was speaking of earlier. So for me, I'm waiting at least 4 hours after the meeting to see where things settle down. I am in the camp that we will settle down and then start to pick back up, unless something horrible happens, which I don't expect that. Right. So second half of today is going to be really kind of up in the air for the second half. We know that like the meeting's at 2 p.m. So we got about 3.5 hours from right now. So depending on how that, what happens with that, either way, before he starts talking, we're going to see up and down. So that's why I like to stay on the sidelines. And so that's what I'm seeing for second half today is volatility. We can kind of recoup tomorrow after the meeting and see, where things settle. And once they pick back up, what we can maybe feel, heading into the weekend. But let's get to the 4-hour chart here. I mean, the indicators are showing we want a little bit of a sell down on the hour chart. So, but again, that you kind of throw that out of the window, in my opinion, for FOMC day. But on the 4-hour chart, kind of same thing, right? The indicators are on the MACD, it's showing there's some buy pressure. It is weakening here. This is going to be volatile though. So, but let's kind of look at the Bollinger Bands too, to kind of show you guys that it follows, right? You can see the tightness here before this big leg up, then it spreads open because this, there's a strong uptrend here. That separation happens, and then we start to see a little bit more consolidation, and then it tightens up again until another big move. So it really works across the time frames here. But yeah, 4-hour, kind of the same thing. We're gonna have to wait to second half of today, but I expect actually there to be a bounce back because it's gonna be volatile up and down until about a couple hours to 4 hours after the meeting today. The chart that I really like is this weekly chart for Bitcoin. You can see that setup is here. I'm pretty much where I wanted to be to feel really good about Bitcoin's price action for the next month and a half. And this looks really great too. With I expect a continuation follow up here with a long, a big green candle, and you can see it's actually starting to tighten here on the weekly, right? So that makes sense for it to tighten because it's expecting, in my opinion, a strong move up. So that looks really good too for Bitcoin. So we're looking really good in terms of where we're heading for the long midterm, I would say, for the next month and a half. It's a little bit similar thing here with the others, which is everything outside of Bitcoin and the top 10 altcoins, right? This is starting to tighten up a little bit. Not really, but we need Bitcoin to get to a new all-time high, and I would expect this to tighten up really tight once Bitcoin maybe gets to like 115, 120, and then it finds kind of a hover zone, right? So right now it's just alts are going to tail Bitcoin, but be slow with it. It's going to be delayed, in my opinion, for the others at least, and even the top 10 ones. They are kind of slow behind Bitcoin, but they do follow it. It's just a slow, delayed follow. So yeah, that's what we're looking at today. The crypto bubbles looking pretty darn good on the daily, which makes sense because yesterday was really red. And when you have something hyper aggressive, like jumping up $3,000, it's aggressive. Hyper aggressive was probably last week, jumping up 10,000. But it's this is where some of these like majors will probably follow in a shorter period of time once there's like a big news event or something. And that's what we saw. Hex being up 20.1% wasn't on my bingo card though. I'll tell you that. And Fartcoin being down 11.8% was also not on my bingo card. But seeing most green here was kind of on my bingo card after last night's aggressive push up for Bitcoin. So we'll kind of see how things play out. Anything stick out to you here?
Hex up 20%. Obviously it's the biggest one, but you know why Hex is up? It's so stupid.
Is he back?
It's so stupid. So he came out yesterday. Yeah, basically, you're right. So he came out yesterday and he said, should I do a stream? The price of Hex went absolutely nuts off that X comment, and he never went live. But so the reason why Hex pumped originally in 2020 and in 2021, even in 2022 a little bit, was mainly because Richard Hart would go live for these like 6-hour streams and just jibber jabber, right? And people were like, it was like a cult leader, right? He wasn't even saying much, and but like he's basically hinting now that the SEC has dropped charges against Hex and him, that he's going to start doing that again. So his fan base went nuts after that.
Yeah, I remember he used to sit in that Game of Thrones looking chair all the time.
Yeah.
It was kind of creepy. But
Yeah, it was very like satanic too. Yeah, like all these like upside down crosses and candles, and it was very weird situation. But I mean, that's kind of what his cult likes, right? So I don't know, I
yeah,
don't get it, but
I
it
don't
is what
like
it is.
that. I don't think I'm ready for anything. I'm fine with how it's been the past, couple of years. But anyhow, that
Yeah,
definitely stuck out to me. So,
Farcoin.
probably take some
Sorry, go.
profit there, right? On that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fartcoin too.
100%. So
Definitely
Farcoin's
one.
a leading indicator to me, which kind of gets me a little bearish on the market. Farcoin has been that. Farcoin kind of leads the market by a day or two. So that's a little scary. I'm hoping that actually falls through, but Farcoin's been accurate. If you look at Farcoin every single day, like Farcoin was a little bit green yesterday, so the market's green. Farcoin was a little red the previous day, so the market was red the next day. I'm really hoping that we don't see anything. But why is Virtuals down 11%? I mean, Virtuals is doing big things. I mean, I don't get that either. So
Well, Fartcoin, the past couple days it hasn't been like aggressively up, but like the past couple weeks it was, right? And a
yeah,
lot of people, like, I think we're thinking it was manipulated. There was a lot of people that whales, they're just trying to push it up. And I
yeah,
think this could be just profit taking. And same thing with virtuals. The past
yeah,
week at least, virtuals has been really pushed up, right? Like whether that's whales going in there, and there's different levels of manipulation. I'm not saying like if there's just whales trying to be bullish on it at the same time, obviously the price is going to go up. So I could see these as just kind of profit taking, and then taking advantage of some of these other tokens that are starting to catch trend a little bit. But we'll see. Bitcoin I do think is going to pick back up, whatever happens here in the next 3 to 4 hours. These will eventually tell it a day or a day and a half behind. So I think we're fine. I think we're fine as long as Bitcoin doesn't crash. I think the alt market, we just got to be patient for the risk on
yeah.
environment. So
Yeah, 100%, man. Couldn't agree more. Patience is a virtue, right? So I think it's a saying. But let's kind of get into today's roll call. On this show, we do a special thing called First is First. So basically, I take the first comment every single day of every single stream, Monday to Friday, the 5 streams, and I put it, on a chart here. And crap. Do you have a problem with the Google Docs? Sometimes it makes me always delete my history.
no, not
Clear
really.
cache. I mean, it makes me clear my cache like every time. I don't know what this browser sucks though, but let me actually reload this now that my cache is cleared and bring it back up. All right, so this is it right here. Let's see who got it today. All right, so 5-7. Let's go to the comments. Go all the way up. First comment was Webdro. Congratulations to you, Webdro.
Back at it, man.
Back at it. Yeah, man. You are, this is win number, wow, you haven't won since the 25th of April. Win number 17 for you. Oh, 18 for you. So congratulations. So you won on the 5th and now you won on the 7th. Congratulations. I didn't see that. But yeah, man. Huge win for you. And I'll make sure that gets put in there whenever this damn browser wants to load back up. But absolutely awesome. Congratulations, bro. Today is your day. Shout out to Webdro. PJNZ right there, man. Webdro was 5:53 a.m. Oh, it looks like the Reaper might have came because 5:53 a.m. and then 5:36 was the 2 first comments. So
someone was using some dirty words, or at least to YouTube they were dirty.
Yeah, man. So I kind of shows you guys if you don't get the first, maybe put some dirty words in the chat and the Reaper will come and reap the whole chat. But pump it. Danny says, whoa, oh, it was Danny that got reaped. They reaped me.
Man.
Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. I see Webdro first in my phone glitching. Did you change a name? Yeah, I don't know, man. Sorry about the Dan. So it was Danny who got reaped, but shout out to Danny boy, always being here. Really appreciate you, my friend. Lackey Lukey says 2x Reaper. What? Webdro, congrats. Damn. Nabob is here. Bitmap Capital is here. OnePlus at is here. And then we got Nighthawk. He's out there saving lives in California. Shout out to our guy. Not all heroes wear capes, and Nighthawk is one. So GM fellas, I started a new job. But I am with you guys in spirit. Rock on. Shout out to you, my friend. Goose Honk is here like every single day now. Thank you, Goose Honk. Glasshopper is here. Mempool Punk is here. Abstract is here. Excited for this one. Yes, sir. Chips and Dip is here. Vader time. Satoshi Nakamoto says showtime. It is 11 a.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Dumbo is here. Shout out to Dumbo. He says, GM, do you guys see the last Big Noodle demos? Huge project cooking.
We
Shout
did
out
see
to
that.
Superfan. Yes. Really looking forward to that. I got to actually take a deep dive. I need to put together some time and really look into the newest updates or just have Superfan on and he can kind of tell us the updates, right? That's always easier when you have a show. But shout out to Dumbo and the Superfan. Ordinal Tweets is here. Then I got Chaz over there from Tokyo. Man, what you guys are doing is special, man. Really appreciate you being here, watching the show. Absolutely awesome. Mice Elf is here. Kai Effect, GM. Guys, I'm flying 300K feet overhead right now.
Yo.
And you're able to watch the show. That's phenomenal.
He got that $9.99 Wi-Fi in the air. I have to get it every time, man. I get too bored.
Is it really $10?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the airline, right? But
Yeah.
like I'm gonna pay $10 for the whole flight or whatever, just because I'm not gonna watch one of their movies.
I forget what airline it is. But T-Mobile, you get like free, which I have. You get like free Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Oh, T-Mobile. Yeah, that's right.
Airline is So, Kai Effect is here. Justin Garox is here. Shout out to you, my friend. What's up? Thank you so much for being here, Justin. It's been a while, my friend.
It's Garo.
Garo.
Yeah, he's probably from like Louisiana or something. French, them Cajun French names.
Myself says nice. Yeah, when looking at charts, I like to observe the trend, momentum, and volatility. Yeah, for sure. Malam Yuri is here. He said there's hope for the future. Myself
Always
says
hope.
I thought the same, but I didn't let my opinion on RH get in the way. Hex ended up being my best play last. Like, yeah, it was a lot. It was everyone's best play if you got into Hex. I mean,
a lot of people made a lot of money.
Yeah, and it went to a penny. So, well, actually, 49 cents in 2022, which was crazy. Myself says I thought the same. Okay, I read that already. Superfan says shout out to PJ&Z, and Superfan says I love seeing it. 100%. Dream Baked is here. Yo, people are coming back, bro. They're coming back in droves. I'm excited. That's exciting when we're starting to see people who used to follow in February and March. We're here every day, and they're coming back. Shout out to Dream Baked and ASAP Benji. Yeah, the ASAP changed his cat. I think he got a new. Oh,
I like it.
Cat.
I like
there.
it. Yeah, you don't see
thick,
too many of the black cats in the collection there. So love
Nope.
the Billy cat there.
And Superfans says Dumbo, much appreciated. And that'll wrap your roll call for us today. Thank you guys so much. Every single one of you guys who make roll call, we appreciate it so much. It helps the channel. It helps push the algorithm. And if you don't mind liking as well, it really, really helps the show. Appreciate every single one of you guys, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's jump into the kind of the topics of the day. So Ethereum Pectra upgrade officially went live today, May 7th at what's that, around 6 a.m. during epoch 364032. Ethereum Pectra upgrade has 11 changes boosting UX, validator, and layer 2 scaling. So what's your opinion on this? Obviously, there's nothing in there that really scales the chain, but there is a lot in there that actually scales L2s. Arbitrum came out today and they put out like a post saying that this is going to help them scale 100x more transactions, basically landing on Ethereum at the end of the day.
Yeah, you that is one thing that Ethereum does have an advantage on, is that they have a network of L2s, right? So they can kind of utilize them to help promote as well, like the Ethereum brand. And they've kind of pushed all in with the L2 support and L2 scaling and all these things, scaling with L2s, right? So this is good. Obviously, that's what people expect, is for this upgrade to help that scaling. When does it help with on layer 1 transaction volume, right? If a couple of these L2s are really, really efficient, if they're cheap, fast, and everything else, then you got to imagine that there's going to be a lot of entities utilizing this once DeFi becomes this huge industry, right? And so I think that's whenever they are hoping that it's just going to multiply in these roll-ups, and that will help the transaction volume go up on Ethereum, and eventually that will go into fee costs and all these things. But I don't know, man. It's like the more efficient you go, the cheaper it's going to be, and like they probably want to, the competition is going to be which L2 is the most efficient, right?
Yeah.
And what the cheapest. And so, like, do you think Ethereum layer 1 transaction volume is kind of, there's no solution to that?
There's no reason. There's no reason to. I mean, so that's the thing is like Ethereum doesn't want like in a way with these upgrades, they don't want transactions on L1, right? They want everything rolled up because Ethereum will never go away. Why? Because there's 19 L2s running on top of it.
Okay.
So it's like, you know what I mean? So for Ethereum, they don't need to be layer 1.
How do you get the value of Ethereum to go up?
It's going to go up when transactions for these L2s come in, right? So
that's what I'm trying to say is that,
yeah,
like, you know, but the thing is that there has to be like so many transactions or like so many like L2s that pop up to where it's like their long-term goal is to have like so many, even if they're efficient, the transactions will add up.
Yeah, but the problem with Ethereum's value isn't, you know, that it's not doing great, right? Ethereum's doing exactly what Ethereum wants to do here. The problem is the market, right? Is we're in a risk-off environment.
No,
Ethereum,
because
yeah, I truly, there's no other tokens that are doing well. Like you can't say Ethereum's not doing good when it's only Solana and Bitcoin, right? Solana is the number one because of Pump Fund, and
XRP also did well, and I mean it's underperformed against all of those other blue chips that you just mentioned. Solana,
for now, but it's
Cardano,
again, we haven't been
XRP.
in a risk-on environment.
But my point is that like why did they perform better than the number 2? Like Bitcoin performed well, like how everybody expected it to. Then they expected Ethereum to perform well. I think it has to do with their tokenomics and the fact that they have this, you know, deflationary model, but that only works if you're having a lot of transactions and fees and all those things. That's where that tokenomic thrives in. But if that's not happening, then you have to rely only on demand of the 4-year cycle, and that didn't work for Ethereum because there was nothing popular on Ethereum to where people like the masses were running to. You get what does that make sense?
Yeah, but all these chains, they use ETH, right? So base ETH, every chain, like they use like Optimism, ETH gas.
It's not enough.
Arbitrum, but it's not it's not right now. So Ethereum is now Polkadot. Ethereum is now Cosmos, right? It is basically a layer 0. It's the same exact thing, right? So they're not doing, no layer 0 is doing well right now on that sense. But we're going to get to a time, especially when Polkadot does its big upgrade, and it's actually going to be using a lot of ETH as well. It's going to be very parallel with ETH. I mean, you're already seeing chains on Cosmos that are parallel with ETH. Like ETH will blow up once we get users. There's no users right now, right? There's no one using EVM. Everyone is using Solana. Cardano's only really kind of push in the last couple months was really the potential of being a Bitcoin L2. So all the Bitcoin L2s, like the ones that are actually really thinking about doing stuff with Bitcoin, they're doing good. Sui's doing good. Cardano's doing good, right? You're seeing a lot of these newer L2s coming on Bitcoin, and they're also doing good. But again, it's just hype. You're not seeing real transactions, real movement. And once that happens, I mean, Abstract uses ETH. I mean, right now they're one of the fastest growing chains, according to CoinDesk, right? And then again, they use Ethereum. So there will be a huge push on ETH right now. I mean, it's just waiting for users.
But I think that's going to be more of like institutional demand of the token to try to get the price up, and everything is like, when you do go into risk on, then it will benefit because everything will, because people are just looking different things to buy. But right now, like we've seen usage go up a lot on base with virtuals. It was really popular in January of this year, like to where
ETH was 4K then,
and it was taken away from Solana, like in terms of like the attention economy, right? I thought ETH topped out in like November. Or
it was like 3,800 in January. It was late December, very early January was like the top.
So we know Solana hit a new all-time high. We know that Cardano and XRP were thriving as well. And Ethereum seems to be the one that's being held back. But I do think that there will be a point to where the demand does get pushed up, but it's going to be institutional initially, and we'll see. We'll see if the L2s can provide enough demand in terms of their transactions to finalize on Ethereum to make those tokenomics benefit the token.
I don't think it'll be fully institutional. I think it's going to be a lot of retail demand because of the fact that you're going to need ETH to do a lot of things on these chains. I think there's going to be a lot of killer dApps landing on Base, killer dApps landing on Sony, killer dApps landing on pretty much all these L2s, Arbitrum, Optimism. You're going to see stuff that's being built now because we're about to enter a very bullish cycle. A lot of people are waiting to release their dApps. And I think once that happens, I think the inflow of ETH of coming, people buying it on Coinbase and then withdrawing it as Arbitrum, Arbitrum ETH, withdrawing it as a Sony ETH, withdrawing it as, you know, base ETH. I think that is going to be, and then abstract ETH as well. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff coming, and Ethereum's really going to get that push from both. I mean, you are right, from institutional for holding it for number go up, but you're going to need it for gas as well.
Yeah, I wonder what the emissions look like right now versus the burn rate, because the burn rate's atrocious, right? I mean, if you look at sound money or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, there's more ETH coming online. ETH is inflationary right now, but you know, if ETH gets like, if you know, I think it's like if the ETH gets to like $13 a transaction or something like that, then you can definitely see the burn actually going crazy. I mean, Zen was keeping Ethereum deflationary the entire year 2022 and 2023. So now Zen's not really a thing anymore, and you're kind of seeing it drop off. So.
Yeah. I mean, the past 30 days, it's plus 71,227 Ethereum tokens. That's actually not that bad. No, honestly.
That's less than Bitcoin.
That's not that bad. And so,
yeah, value-wise, that's way less than Bitcoin. Yeah.
I was going to say it's not less than Bitcoin in terms of total tokens, is it?
Not for the past month, but I'm talking about value.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin 3 tokens is $300,000 per every 10 minutes, right? So that's not, I mean, it's only $140,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's not much.
This is a great comment here by Superfan. Says, funny thing, mom's generation now knows all about BTC, but young cousins all talk ETH. Yeah, I mean, and Solana. I'm sure there's a lot of young, you know, Gen Zs talking Solana recently. So.
100%. All right. I got a few more topics before we get into the SAT terminal. I'm really excited for those guys. DeFi Development Corp has bought another 82,000 SOL, worth around 11.2 million, totaling 400,000 SOL in treasury. DeFi Development Corp, they're on NASDAQ as DFDV, formerly known as Yanover. So this is something we were talking about yesterday. There was that other company basically being their SOL strategy, right? Basically eating up a lot of SOL, taking it over there, and then now you have DeFi, who they've been doing it for a little while too. So they have two companies on the NASDAQ right now that are eating up SOL. You know, I guess this goes to my question from yesterday. I mean, is SOL a strategic asset? Like, why are these guys buying up so much SOL right here, especially being publicly traded companies?
I think they're looking at it as a cycle play, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, you know, they are looking at it as like a long-term play. If you look at the potential upside, right, there's a lot. So at the very least, like a cycle play, right? I mean, I think most people would say they wouldn't be shocked if Solana got to $1,000 this cycle if everything else runs hard, right? What do you have it?
Oh, Solana? I think Solana goes over to like 1,700. I think somewhere between 14 and 17, I think, is my peak, what I'm thinking for the cycle. But I'm also thinking, you know, 700K Bitcoin when that happens. So, gotcha. All right, let's kind of get into the final topic here. Colin talks crypto. He says, I get the feeling like things are about to get very bullish very quickly within days. And he's the guy who's really been pushing the global M2 money supply. So he changes it every day. So this is now the offset by 86 days. He was on
what was it before?
Day. It was 78, 80, and now 86.
He's kind of,
yeah, but like I don't know why, but he's saying that this is about to happen. He's saying that we're about to hit the area of 111 with a little bit of upper momentum, a little sideways, a little down before we take that next leg, and he's calling for it now. He's saying now we're about the next week or so we're about to see 100K. Do you think he's going to be right again? Because he's been right this entire time so far.
Yeah, I think he's going to be right regardless, right? I mean, you zoom out with the M2 money supply, in my opinion, right? So we're going to follow. I mean, you could go all the way back to Q4. It's going to happen, but it doesn't match up exactly. I mean, that's impossible. So, you know, maybe he's saying, okay, we're going to go through a little bit of a pullback here, and that's why he keeps pushing it back. I don't know. But anything can set this off, though, right? And start to get really hyper aggressive. But I think we just got to stop looking at like he's doing it obviously because he wants to be right. You know, that's why he keeps changing it. But for us and people watching the show, just know in the next 2 months that we will most likely follow this trajectory, which is an up trajectory, right? So I think we all expect Bitcoin to hit a new all-time high within the next month and a half, and I'm fine with just knowing that.
And there's a new all-time high of the global M2. It reached another giant leap up. It passed its original all-time high here, and he's saying that's still in price discovery technically on the charts, where it could go up even more. And he's predicting, I mean, we're talking August, 190K.
Yeah, I mean, some people predicted higher than that by August, right?
Yeah.
And 190K.
But they didn't show the evidence that he's showing.
Yeah. But we've been preaching about the M2 money supply as well for the past 2-3 months. So
yeah, for sure. All right, guys, it is 12 o'clock, and we're about to jump into our next segment here. We are lucky enough to partner with the great guys over at Sats Terminal. We're really going to be helping those guys really kind of grow and really succeed. They're already doing an amazing job. So we're already seeing amazing growth. I mean, we talked to these guys in February, and what they've been able to accomplish from February to now is outstanding. And we're lucky enough to have those guys every Wednesday going to be joining us. We're going to get a different member of the team, kind of maybe putting a face to the Sats Terminal. I think that's really important. Having a U2 strategy, I think, is really important for a lot of these projects, and that's kind of why they partner with us. And I'm just excited to talk to Psyclops.
Yeah, I mean, Sats Terminal is doing great things. They have a full team too, right? Like you got the kind of CEO with Stan. You got the marketing, and also tech knowledge, by the way. Psyclops, he has experience in a lot of different areas. Like his Cardano experience is really deep. And then you got a cracked out dev, right, as well. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna produce, and other entities are already paying attention to them a ton. So excited to get Psyclops up here and dive in.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Cyclops, welcome to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Hey guys, it's probably depressing if you're putting in this face to Sats Terminal, but we'll go with
man.
it.
You gotta give yourself some credit
man.
there.
Yeah.
No, how you been? Go ahead.
Good.
I'm good. It's just raining like crazy upstate New York, so it's like you're just inside and you feel like a troll. But that's like all the time anyway, so it's nothing new.
Dude, I'm in Philly, which is probably a few hours away from you, and there's no rain here, not yet, anyway. So
you're not getting the rain. You're like our next door neighbor, basically.
Yeah, basically, I'm in the city of Philadelphia, and I'm not seeing no rain. I mean, the gray skies, but no rain.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm Finger Lake, so it's like nonstop rain, and like my neighbors are like, your lawn's too, like, I have like old neighbors, like, because I'm out in the country, and they're like, your lawn's too high. It's like, it's raining. I can't mow it right now.
They're like, you're bringing our value down. You're like, chill out. It's like 3 inches tall. That's it.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Trying to stay busy. Our biggest thing is always trying to educate our audience and community and onboard as many people to crypto and the Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. And speaking of that, you guys are doing a reoccurring Wednesday spaces, which we were able to attend this morning. It was really fascinating. It was fun. A lot of builders. How has that been for you guys? Are you seeing the same kind of interest in I guess, like, investment and growth with the builder ecosystem over here?
Yeah, the builder ecosystem is amazing. Like, it's really cool. Like, they're just not the best at throwing spaces, and like I'm not either. But like because I did like a meme coin, I did like a lot of spaces, so you kind of get a little, like, you realize that like you don't have to know that much sometimes. So
Yeah.
So it was just like I was like, we need to just organize more, like, because people will throw spaces and there'll be like 10 people on there, because it's not like, and then we had like an agency that was like for a short period that was like throwing a space and there'd be like 10 people, and it's like, no, you're supposed to like DM people. So it was just like we just had like a great roster, and like Barbara is like a good friend and like a great person who's been working with us, like, and so it was just like, just throw a space, and it had a DMing like one of the many group chats that we have to our product, and so, okay, pretty much everyone's like, so it's like, okay, there's like interest here, and not necessarily just say like it's ordinals, but like say it's Bitcoin DeFi.
Gotcha. Shizzy, are you getting a breakup with
Yeah,
the? So I think your mic might be breaking up a
problems.
little bit.
I can go better, Mike.
Okay, yeah, that'll probably work better. But yeah, Shizzy, while he's getting that,
How is that?
Okay, that's better.
Much better.
Better for sure.
Yeah, is that
for
better?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of going to the spaces this morning, Shizzy, how'd you feel about it? Because we saw a lot of different DeFi solutions that are working at it for Bitcoin in a different approach. What do you think, Shizzy? Like, is this a bullish thing, or do you feel like, oh, this is kind of similar to what I saw last 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a great turnout, right? I think I saw 40, 50 live viewers and even more than that later. So that was that was really awesome to kind of see people, because the hardest thing right now is getting people. I mean, there's some really amazing projects in the space, but there's no users. That's kind of my biggest thing. But it does feel like, in these spaces with these builders, you're seeing a lot of people come in, for you guys, which is awesome. And then you guys, I mean, you guys had Tap, you guys had, some pretty Rune Mine, right? What they're building is absolutely insane. Not only a bridge, but you're able to do some cool rune shot and like all the other cool people in there. I thought it was a really great space, and I think, again, shout out to Barbara, she did a really amazing job.
For sure. Like, I think I'm just more excited because I was originally like a DeFi degenerate, so like I just spent most of the bear market like trying to break protocol, like like lending and being like, oh yeah, all those liquidations. Like, I was just in a group with like in Discord, like on chat, like we were just trying, like scouring all the DeFi protocols to be able to like eke everything out of it. So it was like to see it happen on Bitcoin. I was like, I never thought that was going to happen. And then it's like, okay, well, people needed, like it's kind of the same thing that like happened on Cardano, like where it was like NFTs for like a long time, and then it started shifting towards DeFi. And so it's like there's like that information gap. So it's like, okay, like once we kind of start telling people how to like degenerately use like DeFi, like lending protocols like Liquidium and stuff, and start to find the connections, it's like then people get like excited and come in. So
Yeah,
I think once that happens, it gets nutty.
Yeah, and one of the projects was also like Middle, and I believe that's their name, and they're kind of doing something similar to Arch, to where it's like a 1.5 where you're rolling up these transactions, or sending them to Bitcoin layer 1. And for me, like I saw Sats Terminals kind of doing something with them. Correct? Am I right with that? Okay, so
I believe so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people look at Sats Terminal as just this kind of only Bitcoin layer 1 native aggregator. Is that the approach, or is it kind of like, okay, we're opening up to like whatever is going to be able to use Bitcoin layer 1, but also might also use kind of a hybrid scalable layer as well?
Yeah, my like I think you want to hit all of them. That was always my take. And like I think it was just a bandwidth issue with the team. And so it's like to see things like alkanes and stuff, it's there's no way to know what protocol, which is like that's a new thing for me, is being like I don't know what token standard is going to take over. I personally love runes, but like I also just came here at the launch of runes. I miss like BRC20s, but like I do think that those are all just markets, and every single one has like their day in the sun, and then it goes down, and then it's all cyclical. So until it kind of gets standardized and it's like totally out of our control, it's like I think the whole team was just like, why don't we just start hitting up everything, because it's all Bitcoin at the end of the day. Like we're here to aid like it moving forward, but like certain things like token standards, it's totally out of our control. So it's like we might as well, like, especially just because we see all the builders now, it's like we might as well, like it makes most sense to do that, especially as an aggregation service. Like,
yeah,
you kind of want to represent the whole space and be able to just bring anybody into it. So
yeah,
so that's kind of like how we see ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair assessment, right? Because of the history of fungibles on Bitcoin. But if you were to, have to pick a standard right now that has, I'm not saying pick a winner, but pick one that has the most like infrastructure and building for infrastructure, which one would you say?
I mean, right now it's definitely runes, because
Yeah.
they have like DM indexes and all that. I mean, they dot swap also built out for BRC20s, but it's the one that has the most attention so it has the most built out. But I didn't even know protocols like ARC20 existed, which was interesting. Supposedly it's like programmable, like, and you just it's just so hard to get a grasp on.
Yeah.
So
On like what will be it.
Yeah. ARC20s were fun because they were colored coins. Colored coins was something that was created in like 2013 when Vitalik was here, right? Vitalik didn't create it, but he was around during that time before he went and built, Ethereum and stuff. And they just ARC20 just kind of brought that back. One thing cool about ARC20 was every coin was one Satoshi. So that was the best part. It was like every single, so it, no matter what, you were good. You were good to go. But the one part that sucked is you can only do 514 in a batch because that was Bitcoin's limit. Like it's what's that called?
What the op return storage limit?
No. 514 is the least amount of sats you can send in one transaction. So some of these coins were going for like $25, but you can only buy 541 of them. So it was like it was a tough trading up. Me and Yagobi were sitting there one day like, yo, you want to split this with me? Because I can't buy it solo. So it was like
yeah, and that goes to show kind of how the limitations of Bitcoin really make it like hard for developers to build around and all these things. But there's some changes and stuff that have been made. But I agree with you. Runes has that infrastructure right now. You even see like other L1s or layers that are building something for Runes, actually, like for example the ICP situation with Odin, and then you see with RuneShot near protocol, and so I do feel like Runes has that advantage. But being an aggregator, I completely understand how you guys are saying, hey, let's support the overall ecosystem. In terms of SAT Terminal, you guys have been like partnering with a lot of people. What would you say is the most exciting thing that you are looking forward to that's going to be coming to your product suite or your product and swap and all that?
So so the new protocols are really, really interesting because we were talking to somebody who was like a big DeFi person from back in the day, and like he was explaining how 1inch, like there's so much more than just hitting up all the ETH dexes. It's like they hit up all the protocols, they hit up the bridges, and so there's a lot being built out in that sense, especially as it. And like I like being an aggregator because like in the like when I was in Cardano, I saw the aggregators like come up, and I saw that in Solana too because I was in those early days too. When that kind of comes up, that's like what like helps the whole like ecosystem come together. And like also you're just not, because I just don't like drama that much. It's like you're just not really fighting with anyone, because
it's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, you're working out for everybody's best interest. So you're just not like that enemy. And so it was like it's just like less stress to be in. So it's like because like really if somebody just says no, it's more like they just don't have the time right now. But like nobody's gonna be like think of us as like some huge enemy being like, hey, can we like aggregate your decks into our swaps? So it's like a very diplomatic place to be. And so I was just like, okay, sign me up. And then like I just saw like in the other ecosystem they were like integrating with other people. So it was like I understood the playbook that they went by. And so it was like, okay, like it's just like getting widgets out and all that. It just kind of makes it more fun because you're just trying to find like nutty ways to use that. Cause like I love DeFi, like when you combine all this stuff. And so like an aggregator is just really fun in that sense.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, 100%. And the best part of aggregator for me is that you guys aren't you guys aren't holding anyone's funds, right? So that's kind of the biggest problem with the Bitcoin ecosystem right now is a lot of these dexes are not really dexes because they're custodian funds. You guys technically are the only real decentralized exchange because of the fact that you're just kind of taking what everyone else is bringing to the table and using their LP pools and kind of bringing that decentralization to that aspect. Do you think there's a way that we kind of get more decentralized in the future? Or do you think this is kind of how we're going to be working? in a very centralized manner with these other guys, and you guys just kind of being the only real decentralization in the space.
I like having many different dexes, especially for Bitcoin L1, because if an LP exists on like 10 different dexes, right? Even though that they're like, it gets a little bit harder for anyone to rug on any one dex, but then two, it does kind of make the transactions go faster, because if it's aggregated through an aggregator, it's a faster trading experience, because it doesn't necessarily have to route through one dex. It could route through many of them, as long as the market is efficient. And that's kind of like the hope in my mind as like a degen, like how it can play out. And then, you know, like because I think that, and I think the protocols are also really interesting, because there's like a lot of arbitrage opportunity, and it's like, how do you take advantage of that? And so I think once you kind of make those tools, like other people will figure it out, and I'm more interested to see how that happens too.
Yeah. And you have like your experience in Cardano, to me, gives me a lot of hope, because for the people listening, you know, Cardano DeFi was not an easy process. It wasn't like just smooth from start to finish, right? There was a lot of developers that were learning a script language and then had to scrap all of it because Haskell came out, right? And then so you're just like, what are we doing? And all this stuff happens, and then like some people probably lost hope at some point, and then eventually it came to where you have AMM, you have all these things come together. Is that why you're so optimistic about Bitcoin DeFi? Because you've been through a UTXO chain, by the way, that had bumps and bruises and a hard time getting to where they are today, but they finally got there.
Yeah, exactly. So it exactly looked like the early days of Cardano DeFi, because you only had an order book dex at that time, and like the AMMs, just like it was like a huge struggle, because you're dealing with UTXOs, and then a lot of it is like we don't have like smart contracts natively on Bitcoin, but it's like Cardano, like in a central sense, it failed, right? Because like Haskell had a lot of problems. But what I like about that too is the community steps up and comes up with their own solutions. And so that's what, like, when Bitcoin DeFi was at its best, it was literally like, it wasn't the chosen products that carried it forward. It was like the outliers who innovated and kind of like figured out how, and like, to me, that's like the most interesting, is to see the clever ways that people, like seeing the cleverness that people use, like when there's very few resources. To me, that's like really interesting. And so like on Bitcoin, that's just like the case. There's just like, I love the builders, because they're, no matter what happens, they're just doing what they're doing. Like they really don't care about the price, and they're like, and they're just going every single day doing it. And I think when you don't always have all the tools, you're going to figure out ways to make it work in some way. And that's like true decentralization in ways, like, and like, you know, everything being on chain, you kind of start thinking about with like the recent hacks that happened. Like everybody who's building, who has funding, it's like they're all doxed in the background, you know, they're, because they had to do KYC to get funded and all that. It's, even if it's not fully on chain and there's a multi-sig, when a hack happens, it's not going to come from the team, because they're just going to get like there's so much of like their identity in the background that like they're not going to just run away with the money, like, or like it's not likely, you know. Whereas when it's like completely on chain on ETH, it's like you see these hacks happening in real time and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, whereas it's like sometimes when somebody's doxed and they're like, it's like on a multi-sig, they just stop the problem. So when we had those hacks, it just kind of got contained really quickly, and the fallout wasn't horrible.
I agree with that. That's a great point, actually. You know, people can complain about, okay, well, you know, Bitcoin DeFi is centralized right now and all these things. You also have to understand the limitations of the chain. But when something happened, whether it's Odin.fun or, you know, another DEX or whatever, they communicate right away. They have a plan of action, basically, like, you know, from point A to D. And you're right that we didn't we're not used to that for the ones that did come over from EVM or another area. You're just kind of lost. You lost your money. That was it. Like, you know what I mean? There's no like follow up, nothing. You're just like, damn it. Like, I lost. So I agree.
And also, I don't want to get like shot or anything, but like I follow the Count Boring Sleuth, who does like on-chain analysis, like true on-chain analysis. And like everybody hates him. He according to him, like allegedly, a lot of the white hat hackers are actually the black hat hackers, and like a lot of them come from the project. So a lot of when these like hacks happen, you don't know if it's actually from the team, and because it's quote unquote on chain, they can get away with it. And so sometimes it's like, is the problem being on chain or not, or is it more like the bad regulation situation that we're in? And like when you do have people who have to be honest by law, like does that also eliminate a lot of those things that happen? You know, like whereas like there's other ways to obfuscate bad behavior being totally on chain too, you know, with like all the mixers that happen.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas like if Odin Fund fails, like you just know who runs Odin Fund, you know, and you can't really hide from that, you know.
100%.
It seemed like a lot of these hacks, though, were not from the Bitcoin side. A lot of them, especially the ICP side, with Odin Fund and with the other ICP decks, and then I'm not 100% sure what Runes Dex is doing, but there had to be something with ICP because they were all kind of tangled together in basically the same week hack, right? I mean, it was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, back to back to back.
And it wasn't just Odin Fund; it was like dexes and everything. They were all just getting hit at the same time. So it was like a coordinated attack, and it's like to see the minimal fallout, like relative to what I've seen in other, like on ETH and like other chains. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like there's arguments on both sides. Like it's just something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. My last question for you is, one of the issues that with Bitcoin DeFi or Bitcoin ecosystem with these swaps and everything is like liquidity for popular tokens kind of being fragmented and all these things. What can like something like a great aggregator that's building a ton of momentum, by the way, which you guys are, what can something like Sats Terminal, like what does the product do to help that liquidity issue? Like, like you mentioned with 1inch, what they went through. Could you explain that to the audience?
Yeah, so like I think when you have usually when you like all the liquidity is mostly on like Uniswap, right? That DEX. But there's like Sushi Swap, there's there's like Cow Swap, there's like a whole bunch of different swaps. And then there's all the L2s that exist. So if you just trade on one DEX, it gets like there's one that probably owns most of the liquidity, right? But like there's also better deals somewhere else out in some other ecosystem. It's just like a royal pain to bridge to it and like calculate the costs. And so like and then usually by the time you do that, you're too late. Like somebody already beat you to it, or the market changed, or the price. Like the great thing about an aggregator is like you just want to hit all those areas, and so it will take into account like all the fees that go along to it. And like I think that's when all the liquidity just feels like one big liquidity pool. It's almost like how like an Oracle like gets the price feed for a token. It tries to take all the liquidity pools and make it like one big liquidity pool. Because otherwise somebody can game like one of the decks, the small dexes, and like screw up the price and liquidate people. It's like it's kind of an aggregator. It's like it's not a price feed, but it's like
an average almost everywhere of all of them, right?
Yeah. And so it like opens up like arbitrage opportunities for people, and that's like you want all that to happen to keep the prices the same.
Yeah,
gotcha.
100%.
Like where like everybody can make money off of that in some way, like if they're clever enough. Like in DeFi, like when you're being degenerate, it's not like we're not like hacking the protocols. We're just using them as intended. Like I wouldn't even know how to hack, but like it's just like you're just using them as intended, and like they need people to liquidate. Yeah, like they need you to liquidate. Mhm.
100%. Let's kind of show the decks real quick. So this is you made that, guys. This is satsterminal.com. So we do know it easy, right? Trade. You can trade your Bitcoin for runes. You can trade your runes into Bitcoin. You guys are gonna find you the make sure you get the best prices. But then I saw this thing up here. It says bridge, and there's a stop sign over it. Same thing. Stop sign over staking. What are you most excited about with coming up with Sats Terminal? What are you most excited for the future about this DEX here?
Okay, so for those two at the top, I can't reveal too much, but I'm very excited for those because if you look at bridge,
gotta pick one.
Okay, like like think about it this way, like you just have all this. I would say bridge.
Okay.
Because you need to get all that liquidity in here, but two, it also opens you up to other DeFi protocols.
Gotcha.
Like throughout
Exposure.
the whole ecosystem. Yeah. And so like when you like the biggest thing is like we have so much WBTC, but like how do we get it to natively come back to Bitcoin? Like if somebody wants to do something degenerate, like go to WBTC, like add to MakerDAO or Aave, provide liquidity, like get loans and get like yield off of it. Like I don't know. I mean, like I don't know the ins and outs totally. Like, but like it opens up a lot of those opportunities, and like even there's probably hope for Bitcoin DeFi. Like, and I don't know the full details at all, but like I just saw that Michael Saylor tweeted 13% yield for Bitcoin at like MicroStrategy. Which like I like is highly skeptical, but like and probably really, really bad. But if he uses Bitcoin DeFi and people do lending, like it could help with that. If he's backing up a stable coin, that might be really horrible. But
I have a feeling that like Jack Mallers is involved with this somehow, and the Tether organization partnering up with maybe MicroStrategy.
What's the saying though? If you don't know where the yield's coming from, you are the yield, right? So I don't know what Saylor's doing with that. So
well, I mean, he's worth a ton, right? We know that, and I'm sure that TradFi's coming over here. They, especially to the Bitcoin ecosystem. So I'm sure they're going to put some product together. But yeah, you're right. Like that all can flow into like the even broader parts of the ecosystem. So I think there's going to be lots of opportunity for liquidity flow back and forth, as well as earning on your Bitcoin, whatever that looks like, right? Like if that looks like 13%, probably a little bit, ask like 100 questions, ask 100 questions. But if it's like 20%, like Luna was, ask 1,000 questions.
Lots of questions. Yeah,
exactly. So the higher the percentage, ask more questions. But the fact that these products are going to be available, I think it's exciting. Whether everybody's an adult, so you got to make your own decision, do your own research, all that great stuff. So
I got one.
I would correct it. I think
Go
I think it's also the yield as it compares to the bond yields. So like if the bond yields are like 13%, then it's like okay, fine. But like, which I haven't checked out.
What bond yield do you know is again 13%? Is there some?
I was like maybe the dollar's like crashing right now. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to like. I think you guys were talking about M2, and I haven't. I haven't paid attention.
The 10-year now is like a low of like 4% now. It's something crazy. It was 6% 2 years ago. So it's dropped. The yields are dropping heavily, especially with China dumping bonds into the market. But anyway, let's get back to the Sats terminal. What are you guys seeing in the background or with trades wise? I'm trying to get bullish on runes here. Are you guys seeing a lot of people coming in and buying runes here, or are you guys maybe the opposite? Do you guys kind of see people coming in and like selling runes for Bitcoin?
No, there's way more buying than there is selling. 100%.
Bullish.
Like that we've been seeing. They're just people accumulating like crazy. And like like the volume just keeps going up. So it's kind of like what you're watching with like probably like when you were talking about Sol. It's like there's just like big I don't know who it is, but there's big money out there, and they're just like I knew that when I was a trader. It's like the big whales, what they're doing is they're just slowly buying a little bit every day, because they don't want to like trip the whale alerts that much, right? So like you're just watching them just steadily like buy, and like every once in a while you see like a tweet being like this whale bought like so much dog or whatever, but like it's usually like it's not 100%, but it's usually like a pretty good sign when there's like whales just like slowly buying a little bit here, like, and they're not like tripping it because at some point they're probably gonna like pump it like crazy.
Yeah,
like that's just how I used to trade.
you'll know.
Like,
You'll know
yeah.
when it's time. I think that's whenever we go into the risk on environment. But yeah, that makes me excited. You know, I think most everybody that listens to the show too are holders of runes, different types of runes, and you guys are a big part of the infrastructure and ecosystem of runes as well. So you know, we appreciate you, Psyclops, for jumping on with us. We know you guys are extremely busy right now, but we always like to give about 10, 15, 20 seconds at the end of our segment to our partner to maybe you know, give a message to the audience or anything you'd like.
I think it's really simple. Like, I think, you know, like stick with it. Bitcoin runes, you know, hold conviction. It's like the Fed just isn't printing yet. They're not on full QE yet. So once that happens, like I'm pretty sure it's going to go up. Like, although I've been wrong many times this weird cycle.
We all have.
So, you know, like, I don't want to speak with certainty, but like I don't know. I've been wrong a lot. So
Yeah, I'm
but
right there with
because
you.
I'm ignoring the Fed.
Well, I think the problem is we're not wrong. We're just early with our calls. that's kind of but I'm not wrong. I'm just early. I'm just really, really early.
No,
We're pre-rich.
yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, Cyclops, it's been a pleasure. You know, we look forward to this weekly segment, and until next time, we will talk to you soon, sir.
Cool. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yep.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Take care.
Absolutely awesome, man. I really appreciate those guys giving us the time, right? That's really awesome. You as our viewers, man, you guys are lucky. We have the builders. You can see their face, right? They're docs. They're in here and they're building. They're doing pretty amazing things. Things that people said you won't be able to do. You can't do this stuff on Bitcoin. Well, they're proving you wrong. They're doing it every single day. And here on OnChain Revolution, we're giving you everything you need to know about potentially getting an airdrop. They do have something called Amber. You know, I don't know what it is, but it looks to me like what I was seeing with the Magic Eden Diamonds. I don't know. I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but it's definitely something that I'm accumulating for sure. I'm an airdrop specialist, so if I see diamonds or points or amber or anything, I want to get as much of it as I possibly can, especially if all I'm doing is doing what I'm doing anyway, just in this area of aggregation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's awesome to get them out. And it was a great point. You know, the builders in our space, you know who they are, especially if you watch our show, because that's our goal, is to kind of get you guys familiar with their faces and their names and stuff like that. So excited about that team and what they have coming. But yeah, I'm excited for runes too. That question that you asked them, you know, there's a lot more buying than there's selling. And to me, that's a bullish statement there. But I think that wraps up the show, right? Was there anything else that you wanted to hit on? Okay, cool.
Nope.
Well, you know, a little bit slower Wednesday, but not too bad. 165 you guys watching with us, not including Abstract as well as Rumble. We appreciate you guys hanging out every single day with us. If you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we would greatly appreciate it, as that helps us out. Sats Terminal, we just had Cyclops on for a while, just with kind of diving deep in what they got going on. But they are an aggregator DEX for Bitcoin fungible tokens, guys. Primarily runes, obviously, right now, but you're going to be able to find the best liquidity, the best prices on a runes terminal. So make sure you guys are using that application, as well as earning Amber points on their application, as there's going to be alpha tied to that. That is what we are able to kind of give you in terms of the Amber there. So make sure you guys are visiting satsterminal.io to learn more there. And then BetBTC, I'm going to tell you something. We had a meeting with that team this morning, and we got to see under the hood, and it is crazy. BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks. You can start placing bets in their marketplace right away. They have their Blitz markets, which are 10-minute markets that you can kind of play like perps with, right? So it's Bitcoin, Solana, BNB. You lock in for that first 10 minutes what price you think it's going to go up or down on, and then you get another 10 minutes to see if you were right. So there's going to be a lot of things you can do with this platform. I'll just say that. So we'll kind of hold off on that extra information for now, But if you go to betbtc.win, you can learn more there. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tool for Bitcoin ordinals. You're going to be able to utilize Emblem Vault to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Bitcoin Layer 2 Merlin to Abstract, which I think is going to be really big over there, Base, and then Solana eventually. And you're going to be able to utilize their AI agent Hustle to help you do that. Right now, you can use Hustle to actually help you trade on Solana. He's kind of a tool for you guys to get alpha for, pump fund tokens, any type of tokens on Solana. But eventually they're going to add the Bitcoin tech stack to it to where you can vault your ordinals. He's going to be able to help you do that and also make some trades for you as well. Super exciting things with Agent Hustle coming. Don't forget they have a rune themselves, but it's a TGE in September. You can participate in a pre-sale right now on OpenSea if you go over there and search Emblem Founder Vaults. And once we get close to the TGE date in September of this year, they'll give you instructions on how to get those runes into your wallet. But if you visit emblem.vision, you will be able to learn exactly what they got going on. There's so many things going on. This team is very experienced too. Bitcoin developer is the founder from 2015. So a lot of experience there.
13.
And then Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching on Hemi mainnet Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs, mind you. They're also going to be launching on Botonics, the spider chain. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles like Doggo to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, perhaps Ordi, and popular tokens outside of the ecosystem like XRP, Tau, Ethereum. You can also participate in adding liquidity and earn passively there. Make sure you're paying attention to the educational videos with their trader spotlights, as they can kind of help you get started into perps and leverage trading, guys. Visit Artura.finance and you can dive deep into what they got going on there. And then Fluid Tokens. We got our guy Raul still at the Draper University building. These guys started building on Cardano, still building there and making big waves over here in the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're the first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. If you are a founder of an ordinal collection or you etched a rune and you have an established community, head over to their Discord, ask how to get a staking vault established for your community. They'll walk you through all the steps. It's really simple. Also, they have an airdrop tool that's going to be coming. It's almost done. We've been testing it. Flawless. It's really awesome, simple to use as well. And their bridge from Cardano to Bitcoin and vice versa called Aquarium. You're going to be able to bridge the FLDT rune, which is their rune token, back and forth to be on Cardano, which would be turn into their FLDT Cardano tokens back 1-to-1. So a lot of cool things you can do there. These guys are very innovative in the Bitcoin space. Make sure you're paying attention because they always have something new coming out, and you can go to fluidtokens.com to see what's the next big thing they got coming, right? So awesome stuff from that team. And then Tokeo Wallet. This is a smart wallet. This team builds for UI and user experience, guys. They are newer to the Bitcoin ecosystem, but they're also, making a big splash. We're going to start co-hosting with them the Blitz spaces that are just jam-packed with the, most established builders in the Bitcoin ecosystem. You can download their app on the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. Give us some feedback if there's some features that you would like added. But there's alpha on there. You can actually find our YouTube videos as well as other popular content creators on there as well. But you can swap for runes directly on the app as they're partnered with Stats Terminal. So they're using that aggregation, right? So their whole goal is the multi-chain smart wallet. And so their goal is to really just kind of have a one-stop shop for you guys. And I'm excited what they have in the future. So make sure you download that app, and you can visit Tokeo.io to learn more about them. And then Merlin Chain, if you don't mind pulling that down, is uniting Bitcoin strength and the power of AI. So, they are a Bitcoin Layer 2, but they are utilizing AI now to kind of help you get guided through Merlin Chain, right? There's a lot of things coming to Merlin Chain. I think I saw someone post on the timeline, what's going on with Merlin Chain? There's a lot, guys. They got added to the Wrap Bitcoin DAO 3 weeks ago. So they're like the 9th or 10th member in that. So they actually are a signer for wrap Bitcoin. So that's huge for MBTC, which is their wrap Bitcoin as well. They just got added to Say Chain, Say Network, the wrap Bitcoin, the M Bitcoin. And if you are a holder of Merlin Chain tokens, you can help secure the chain with their proof of stake. You can earn 15% APR doing that. And if you want to trade for Doggo to the Moon, you can do so at merlinswap.org. They have a good liquidity pool there as well. So make sure you visit merlinchain.io to learn more about what the latest developments are with Merlin Chain and their team. And lastly, Foxy AI is building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker, which we live streamed yesterday. It was a very, very, very fun time. Foxy's doing some big things, guys. Make sure you're following up with that. They partnered with Bitcoin Derby, which is backed, I believe, by Core Ventures. So big things over there, guys. And then Ordinal Hive is your Ordinal aggregator marketplace. So the cheapest ordinals on Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2, because they are on Merlin, will be on Ordinal Hive. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yeah, man, 100%. Great job there. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. Really feel like you can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Check out our newest article guide, Bitcoin approaches 100K. It has never been more true than today. We're just about there. We're 96.5 right now. I'm seeing on my clock, and we're about to pass this. So definitely check out this article. Check out many of the articles that we have here. Every one of them is absolutely amazing. NordVPN. I just actually got a second one yesterday. I paid about, I think it was like $36 for the year. I actually locked in 2 years on that one, so I can set it, forget it, and have my VPN. I just didn't. So each VPN allows you up to 5, right? And in my house, I have like 11 devices, including my kids' phones and my wife's phone, right? But I want every single one of them to be have a VPN on, right? So for me, a lot of you guys are only going to need one. There's no reason for you guys. I mean, your phone, laptop, that's probably it for you guys. But for me, I like to have every single one of them with a VPN. So now we have 2. And what you get from having a VPN, you get privacy, right? You get when you go to a site without a VPN, you're giving them your IP address, which in the end, it gives them your home address. I know you guys go to a lot of sites and it'll say, hey, there's a new login for me, for instance, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And it's like, oh crap, I didn't have my VPN on. So for me, I like to use Switzerland. I like to use El Salvador, different places around the world on different devices, just to kind of make sure that I am being very secretive about where I am when it comes to these sites and stuff like that, especially with sites like DeFi platforms that are new with without any person to contact, right? A lot of these are autonomous organizations or DAOs or something like that. You just don't want to give your IP to them, especially some of these guys are really bad people, especially the ones that are hacking Bybit and stuff like that, right? So definitely get a VPN. Definitely check it out here on our site. If you guys are going to Bitcoin Las Vegas, we got tickets here. They're getting pricey, guys. They're getting pricey, but still, if you're going to buy them through us. It definitely helps the show. Check it out as soon as possible because they will go up. They will go up. And if you guys need merch for that event or any event, or just kind of lounge around that in the house with, we have some of the best stuff, guys. Shirts, hats, jackets, hoodies, everything you can name. Check it all out here. For me, I love our hoodies. I think we have some of the best hoodies. Check out the hoodies here. We're going to be adding more as well, but a lot of Runes hoodies, a lot of Bitcoin hoodies. Check it all here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the token millions and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.